we should be pouring into each other's generations and not be so separate and segmented. And that was one of the benefits of homeschooling that I didn't quite realize that we had been missing. Now we've lived apart for the past 10 years when we lived in New York, we lived apart from family. But still, my parents have been really involved. And when we first started homeschooling, they were kind of a little bit like, I don't know about this. But then they came to really like it because when they would visit, at that time my kids were younger, we were only 2 hours away. And they could come out on a Tuesday and stay till Thursday, and they would maybe come out, they'd be like, "We'll be out by lunchtime or so." The kids and I would do a little bit of homeschool first thing in the morning, and then we would take off from any curriculum and academics and just have fun and just enjoy time with my parents. That really helped them to have such a close relationship because we would spend days together. Even though we didn't live in the same town, they got to spend days together, with them, and my parents are like, "I love that you homeschool because we don't always have time on a weekend to come out, but we can come during the week and hang out with you and the kids."
Yeah, that is a special blessing and a special relationship. Well, Lee, one of the things I love about you is that you are giving back to the homeschooling community through your podcast, Little by Little, and through your conference. So tell us a little bit about the podcast and the conference.
Yes. So the podcast came out of, I think it was probably 2021 when I started seeing a lot of homeschool moms wanting to homeschool. Prior to that, I had had a DIY blog and we had fixed up a farmhouse and then another house and the title of that included the phrase little by little. And so when I was like, okay, I'm getting a lot of questions online. I'm getting a lot of questions from people about homeschool. And I felt like I was like, okay, let's close the door on the DIY home stuff, which is great and fun. I love that kind of stuff. But let's move into homeschool. And I was like, what do I call it? What do I call it? And then I was like, wait a minute, little by little homeschool, because that's really how we homeschool is just a little bit at a time. And that's how we have homeschooled. So it started off with just helping moms just purely just through social media. And then I was like, a podcast would be kind of fun. So I've been doing that for a couple of years. And then about a year ago, I felt strongly about creating a homeschool conference. I love also, always been, so talking about my brothers and how I would, have them sit down and I would be their teacher. I was also their social director on a Saturday evening, and they had to perform plays with me, and they had to do, dinner theaters. There had to be something. I was the only girl with three younger brothers, and so my mom would be like, "Listen, she doesn't ask for much. Put on the costume and play the part."
Oh, that's
And so, I
great.
mean, that grew as things, I've had some different opportunities before kids where I worked and I did some party planning and organizing and that kind of stuff. And I was like, I could probably do this, combine this gift, this, not to toot my own horn or anything, but just it comes easily to me.
This love, this passion of
Yeah,
yours.
love,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yeah, and combine it with my passion of homeschool and wanting to encourage homeschool moms, and there isn't a lot in the Northeast. There's a lot of conferences and conventions in a lot of other states, but there isn't a lot here in the Northeast, and so I was like, "What if I do a conference?" I started talking to my husband, and he was all on board. Thank goodness for my family. They help out with so much behind the scenes and then boots on the ground the day of. So we had our first conference last fall, and then our second conference is this October on the 18th in Syracuse, New York, and Zan Tyler is gonna be joined by Whitney Newby from Writer Day Press, and you guys are gonna be my two main speakers, and I'm excited to offer a day of just a feeling, and this was my goal, and I heard a lot of feedback. It just felt like a retreat, just a reprieve, and just a day just to feel, encouraged to keep on going, to, again, take that next step and to just, one foot in front of the other, and the camaraderie being amongst other Christian homeschool moms was just it was amazing. So that's, kind of, how that all came to be.